And by popular demand, we are back in Ante Bellum, this time playing as the Slavic pagans in northeast Germany. The nation of Wendia has received a mini update and is playable right now on the workshop version of Ante Bellum. Major things include new national ideas, events, decisions, monuments, missions, and a brand new reformed Slavic faith, all with dedicated lore and mechanics. And before we get into the video, if you find yourself enjoying it, please make sure to support by leaving a like on the video. It really does help out a lot. And if you aren't already, consider subscribing because only about a quarter of you guys watching are actually subscribed for weekly fun content like this. Here we are, Valetti, with our subject over here in Lusatia. Our opening missions are definitely going to allow us a little bit of expansion early on here. All we need to do is build up to 85% of our force limit and we will get claims on all of these guys and these guys, which will be pretty straightforward. We also have the Slavic faith, and we can actually pick 3 different ones right now, which is going to be very useful. So let's go ahead and go with the infantry combat ability, some dev cost, and might as well go with some improved relations. Right now, I don't think we need the missionary strength, considering that everything we're going to be taking is going to be Slavic. And speaking of Slavic, we here have 1 national unrest, national manpower, and local missionary strength +2. So that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and rival the people that we want to rival right off the rip, these guys, as well as Pomerania. And I say we rival Denmark as well. To prevent ourselves from getting raided, we're going to go ahead and hunt pirates in Lubeck to prevent that. Because Denmark, as well as these guys, can raid us as well. You can see they may raid coasts, which is really annoying. The main goal is going to be to click this button and to form Wendia. So you can see we're not too far off. We have most of the provinces we need. We just need to take a couple of key provinces over here and integrate our subject. And that's going to give us some nice bonuses here. Let's find some friends over here. I'd like to find a friend in like Poland's. So let's send a scornful insult to these guys. Let them know that they suck and that we hate them. That will improve our relations with these guys enough that we'll be able to pick up a friend. So right off the bat, we're already stronger. And depending on who these guys ally early on, we're going to attack them right off the rip. Let's go ahead and get our estate sorted. I think this will do. Sell some titles and yoink some crown land, so we're not too far under the limit there. Introduce vision quests sounds good to me. We've got room for 4 more regiments, so let's build them up and get ready for war. Yo, look at this dude. Our priest is indulgent, greedy, and a babbling buffoon. Now, Parm, if you did this to me, I tell you what, man, I have some words. We can also ally either one of these guys down here. I think for the sake of expansion, we're going to go with these Vistulans guys because they border Silesia, and I might be able to call them in on a promise of territory. That would be ideal. We're built up, so we can click this mission to get the claims that we needed on these guys over here. Doesn't look like Poland wants to join because they don't want to be my ally. That's unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. Let's go for something easy like Rostock. Make like a baby and head on in. Get a couple of generals here. Let's go in with our heir and beat them up. Let the bodies hit the floor. Now, these guys are full occupied, and I did promise these guys territory in the war. But watch and learn, I'm about to do what's called a pro gamer move. You piece them out and you take as much as you can from them, lots of money, which is great, farm a bit of prestige as well, and piece them out separately. And now I can take whatever I want, and these guys can't be mad at me because even though I promised them territory, they cannot take any land in this war. They don't get anything. They don't get mad at us. It's a win-win. For the sake of admin mana, I'm going to go ahead and pay a little bit of Diplo to vassalize these guys. They will be pretty upset with me, but I'm not too worried about it because I will get 0 overextension. We'll be able to focus on our admin because we're probably going to go religious ideas first. That will allow us to expand easier as well as convert any of the lands that we take over. So let's go ahead and take that. We also took all of his money, which we can then use to turn right around and pay off their debts. We also have at least 2 subjects, so we can click this wonderful button here, Strong Duchies, which will give us +2 Diplo relations, but more importantly, -10 subject liberty desire, which is great. We can also encourage some divination. Sure, I love divination. And it looks like Pomerania actually doesn't have any allies. So it looks like we're going right back to war. I don't see any reason not to. Leroy! Wrapping up these battles here and getting these guys full occupied. We should be able to do whatever we want in this war. Now, I will full annex these guys, and realistically, I should have annexed them and then released these guys over here. That way they wouldn't have this huge malice for vassalized us, but it's not a big deal. We can also yoink some of this development, which will make it a little bit cheaper to core this stuff up. And in just 4 years, we have grown quite a bit. You can see here, all we need to do is integrate our subjects and we can form Wendia. Now, obviously, we're going to have to accept this culture because Pomeranian is not accepted, and every province we just took is Pomeranian culture. But once we accept it, it'll be much better for us economically. But as far as religion go, it is already the true faith, which is wonderful. One of the things we're going to need to do for our mission is to reform the Slavic faith, which means we are going to need religious ideas, hence why I said earlier that we were going to take it, as well as we need to own specific holy sites, so that's just something that will come in time. With these guys full stated and Pomeranian culture accepted, our economy is going to be in a much better spot moving forward, so much so we can actually afford some advisors, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's get this galley fleet built up. We are going to need it. For now, we're just going to be chilling here because I want to integrate these guys as well as our vassals over here, because this mission here will remove the annex subjects modifier, so we can integrate both of them and then lose the negative modifier without having to use the nobility thing. This will also give us a ton of claims and some AE impact bonuses, so this is definitely the way we want to do it. Force limit is all the way up to 19. As our manpower will allow it, I say we build up to that, yeah? So Mazovia is offering me a friendship, and I think as much as I don't really like the idea of it, it may be the best bet, because if we want to get some clay over here in the Baltic node, which this is really good clay over here to conquer, it might be in our best interest. So I think that is the move. But at the same time, oh my goodness gracious, look at this. These guys want to be my vassal. They would consider it as well. I say we push for a friendship with these guys, reconquer their land. I think that would be much better for us. So I forgot to take a look at this before, but we are indeed a Slavic Theocracy, which gives us 10% war score cost versus other religions, which will be useful later, not so much right now, but eventually. And we have our first reform here. We can go with internal mission for tolerance of the true faith, or external mission for manpower, which I like manpower, so we're going to go with that. And with a small loan of 1 million ducats, we can now vassalize Poland's, which is going to be super useful for us. It also frees up our second diplomat here. So these guys are our vassal. They have all these cores, which is going to be very useful. And we can now, in September, start the integration process of these guys. And we're going to double up and annex them as well as Lusatia at the same time. Well, the truce with Mazovia is over. I say we actually take advantage of it while they've got these rebels just ravaging their country. And we head on in and smash them. We'll be able to reconquer all of this land and then probably give them a couple extra provinces. Since we're going to integrate a couple of our subjects, having big strong vassals is not something I'm afraid of. We have attacked and we've called in Vistulans because why not? They'll give these guys their cores, so that's fine. We just need to worry about Lithuania as well as Silesia, so should be pretty straightforward. You'll love to see it happen, folks. Stanislav here, the absolute Chad of a general, stack wiping their army at the Battle of Kolobrzyg. March on over to their capital here of Plok. Pro tip, transfer forts over to your subjects and you don't have to pay for them. So it saves you a lot of money, especially if they have like defensive ideas and or they're a march or they have good fort modifiers in their ideas. All the better because it applies their bonuses to occupied forts for the enemy. Transfer trade, transfer money, and give me all your cash. That gives us a lot of money, which is great. And just like that, we have big, strong subjects and our name grows bigger yet. And with the integration of Lusatia, we can now click this one, which will remove the malice that we had to our Diplo rep, which is nice. We can also now form Wendia, which we will certainly do. It will change our country, give us some prestige. We will get new missions and new national ideas. So let's click the button there. We are now Wendia. Look at that beautiful color. I actually love it. And the flag is dope. Now, we will get new ideas. I'm not sure if they are better, but I assume they are. So let's accept those ideas. And we now have Wendish ideas, which gives us AE and trade efficiency. So pretty solid. We're also going to get 15% morale once we get the Bane of the Teutons. So very much excited for that. I did not realize I was going to get an entirely new mission tree. So we do now have this entire new mission tree, which is going to give us a ton of new stuff here, apparently. If we have won a war against these guys, we will get some permanent claims on some areas that will be useful to move north. We need to take over Lubeck, and we will get permanent claims on some other stuff. Easier said than done because these guys are indeed in the Empire, so that's going to be kind of hard, but we'll see what we can do about that. We do still have the same ones here. This control the holy sites one is something that we're going to need to do. Once we consolidate the Union, we can click this one, which will give us claims on Poland, and this one to have clay in North Germany will give us more claims in the area, which is great. Other branches to banish the Crusaders, which is to eat Danzig, convert it, and then give us some bonuses in the area, as well as some more claims, which would be useful. And develop our capital is the same one as before, which is good. We also have build a merchant fleet, which will give us some merchant loyalty, and discover the new world, which I'm not doing because colonization is boring. Now, this is how I think we are going to do this. We are going to have to take Lubeck in this war, and they will join. I cannot co-belligerent them, or else it will call Francia in. But if I attack Danzig, it will call them in, and then I should be able to integrate them. Now, I mentioned it in a mission earlier, but we do have this interesting great project here that is specifically for the Slavic faith. When fully maxed out, it will give us a missionary prestige per development for missionary and missionary maintenance cost, which is useful, as well as a cheap inquisitor. Or Poland's over here getting converted by the Center of Reformation in Prague. There we go. Let's head on in. Wipe this army out here in Lubeck. Immediately come on over here, wipe out the Hansa's army. And my goal is going to be to piece out the Hansa as quickly as possible, because that's a large chunk of the army of their entire forces. So absolutely clapping their armies, just destroying their men, get onto their capital, and let's come on over and blockade them. We might be able to piece them out just from that alone. Piecing these guys out will get us quite a bit of money, which will be very useful, and then we can also have them break off any useful alliances. More importantly, it pieces out a large chunk of their army, leaving us pretty much in a good spot to just roll through the rest of these guys. And just like that, a little bit of admin later, no big deal. Some AE, but not enough to get a coalition, and a little bit of overextension. We get a little bit of money, and everything that we need to start working through our mission tree here. Consolidate the Union, which will give us some claims on an area over here, as well as a half-off diplomat. Sounds good. Invading Poland will give us some admin and a claim on the Poland region. Interesting, so this isn't counting it as having won a war, even though I did. I think it's because I separate pieced them. Didn't know that. Good to know. What do we have here? Convert to Christianity? I don't think so. We will be clicking this button, which means we've got some conquering to do, but once we reform it, it should be very much worth it. And I think it's probably for the best that we dissolve this alliance and we get prepared to attack them, because they don't have any allies I care about. Moravia should be pretty straightforward. And just kidding, apparently this mission does actually allow me to complete it now. Don't ask me why. We will also get some bonuses for some claims, which is nice. These claims will be useful. And scrolling down here, we have Banish the Crusaders, which gives some devastation, but it converts the religion and the culture of Danzig, which is nice. Next reform, we can go with Dev Cost. We can also go with Morale of Armies or Yearly Prestige. All three of these are pretty solid. I suppose I'll probably go with the Morale of Armies to help win wars. Now, I'm pretty sure that there's actually literally no benefit to doing this, but what I'm going to do, I am going to remove this province from the Holy Roman Empire. Haha! You suck and I hate you, Francia. Take that. The Renaissance is almost in Berlin, which will be nice, because once it starts to spread, we'll be able to accept that. Our truce with these lads is over. I think we're going to go ahead and attack them, and we'll go for, like, Opoli over here. They're going to call in their allies. I don't particularly care. Now, between the two of them, they've got some men, but not enough that I think we need to worry. So let's just get my subjects to attach to us, and let's head on in and clap some cheeks. That's a free wipe. Always take your 10 to 1s. Shout out DDR Jake. This is great, because these guys have an economy, so I can take a lot of money from them, and I shall. Just an average day in the life of an EU4 player. Just another day in the life, I tell you what. This is going to be very expensive on the admin front, but I think it must be done. Wendia must grow. Next idea group, I think defensive sounds good, the extra morale, so we can really stack that up, as well as our fort defense, I think will make a great combination. We're going to work through that after we get caught up on tech here. We've now got plenty of force limit to spare, and we've unlocked cannons, so let's go ahead and get a few of them in there, and then a couple of extra cav, I think. It's about time we got an army that could punch up a bit. I always love getting this event. You can just fire the guy who you want to keep. I want to keep him. Fire them both. Rehire this guy, and I just got 400 mana. You can't beat it. You really can't beat it. We're now ahead of time on all techs, working through our idea groups, and well on our way to integrating our subject to reform the Slavic faith. And take a look at that economy. Just goes to show you a little bit of strategic growth, trade, and building the right buildings, working on that production in a couple of churches here and there, really makes a big difference. We now control the holy sites, which will give us an Inquisitor, which is half off. That'll be really good, as well as Tolerance to the True Faith and some Morale of Armies. We also have Renovate Arcona, which will build a great temple building in the province of whatever that one is, so that's cool. And as soon as we reform our religion, we will gain Religious Unity CB on all countries following the unreformed Slavic faith. And Wendia is now a great power. That is pretty spicy. And with Deus Volt, we will unlock all of this, which will be nice. The culture conversion cost is not super useful, but maybe we'll use it eventually. But we can now reform the Slavic faith, which will cost us some stability, sadly, but will give us some giant missionary strength buffs for 10 years, which is great. We definitely want that. We have 3 missionaries to be using, so we're going to be doing that. We are now the reformed Slavic faith, giving us national unrest and manpower. And we now have church power, So let's take a look here. Shock damage and infantry combat ability, dev cost and production efficiency, morale of armies and improved relations, also good so far, governing capacity and state maintenance, missionary strength and tolerance of the true faith, monthly war exhaustion and harsh treatment cost, very powerful, national tax and global prosperity, and monthly splendor and chance of new heir. Very cool. And I assume that that means we are going to need to convert every single province, but the color is really nice. It's kind of a similar color to like Hellenism, right? Maybe a little bit lighter than Hellenism was, but either way, we've got 3 missionaries, so let's get working on them. We can reform the religion, giving us some church power, and religious unity CB on all countries that follow the unreformed Slavic faith, which is none of them. None of them do. We're the only one who followed it. Reforming our religion was fine. But now we have Deus Vult. It appears that there are secularists among us. We can either ditch our devotion. We will lose our theocracy. I kind of want to stay the Slavic theocracy, to be honest with you. We could switch to a monarchy. I think we're going to stick with it and push for that devotion. That's what I would like to do. We just need to get our stability up. It's just going to take some time, but I think it's doable. Conversions are coming along. We are slowly but surely converting our country. I've been putting an emphasis on ones that are giving us more religious unity issues. Slowly but surely, we're getting it converted, helping out with our national unrest and getting our devotion up slowly over time via events, as well as getting it ticking up a bit just from getting our stab up. And this peace deal looks pretty good. I will take all of that. Very nice. We can also yoink a little bit of development. Definitely not a bad thing. And look at those borders. Wendia looking remarkably like a Prussia here, with maybe a little bit of extra Polish land. But with Bithynia united, we now get some army tradition and a claim on the Baltic region, which is nice. Now this is where things start to get a little bit spicy. If we get 2 more provinces over here in the Poland region, we will get a united Polish culture, but we will also get a subjugation CB on Moravia. Euro de Jorla to help us out with that, and let's pop this golden era. That'll save us plenty of mana finishing out this idea group and getting more ahead of time on tech. We're looking pretty good so far. Why not win more, right? It's definitely taken some time, but our economy is actually recovering. The issue is that our devotion dropped so much, so our national tax modifier went from +20 all the way down to -10. So a 30% swing absolutely gouged our income. For the second blessing, I think we're going to go with the Blessing of Velis to give us a little bit of dev cost and some production efficiency. I say it's time we push for these last 2 provinces. That means we just need to attack these guys. We will separate peace out Moravia and have them get diplomatically isolated, and we will attack them and personal union them in just a few short years. Their capital occupied, we can break off their alliance with Bulgaria. Having a couple of friends is good. We actually want them to have a couple of friends because we don't want them to look for other big allies, you know, like Zaporozhye or Croatia or anything like that. I think I'm just going to embrace the fact that admin points is just going to be very fleeting in this campaign. We're going to go ahead and take this. No coalition will form because we are overpowered. We'll take all the development we can from these areas, and just like that, we've got a beautiful couple of states. Our borders are looking even better than before, except for Bithynia over here, which we will eat eventually. Protestant Reformation has spawned here in Chara, and so the end of our age is coming. But on the flip side, Hussite seems to be doing quite well, actually way better than I generally would see it. Reformed Slavic is looking very good as well. The next route of expansion is going to be this Balto-Slavic Union, is going to be to control all of the Baltic region, which should be pretty straightforward, except for the fact that we're going to have to fight Novgorod. So we are going to attack this Samatgo whatever guy over here. We are going to co-belligerent Livonia, and we are going to full annex them, full annex these guys, and we are going to vassalize these guys and then feed them the rest of the Baltic region. And with this workshop finishing up here in Königsberg, we will be able to found this Krolivs, whatever. I think this is like the Slavic pronunciation of Königsberg. So there we go. And the peace deal will go as follows. We will annex these guys. So I'm going to annex these guys, and I'm going to release them as a subject. It's going to cost me some diplomana, but this way they come out and they have really great relations with me, and I can take all their money. So with everybody annexed, we can now release a subject over here in Livonia. They will receive all of those cores, and we have positive relations with them. They have no malice for being at war or anything like that. I spot a Mannerheim. Now I could force convert them. It would be pretty painful, so I don't think I'm going to quite yet, but they will be a useful vassal for us. They have defensive ideas, so I think for now I'm going to march them. They will be a good march to have, so let's do that. Let's touch up this fort line, build over here in like Chemishil, and then over here. These will all communicate, and we will get a nice forward operating fort line. And we're also going to get the artillery in this stack up to 10, because 10 is going to give you that magic number that will allow you to get a +5 on a level 3 fort. And as our truce with these lads is about to expire, I'm going to go ahead and click this, which is going to give us the subjugation CB on them. See, subjugation CB against Moravia. We will force them to become our vassal, and now that our truce is over, we can attack them. And as I was saying, 10 artillery gives us that +5, which means we effectively start at a 5. And if you have a 2 siege, we effectively start at a 7. And remember, the highest you can get from this is 12. So 7 right off the bat is really, really influential, especially early on before people start getting these high-level forts. Everybody has been sieged down, so as is tradition, separate piece everybody out for all their monies and whatnot, farm some prestige. And what better way to make your vassals loyal than to expand for them? So let's go ahead and get our boys some clay here. That'll make them happy, right? And with Moravia subjugated, this mission right here gave us a ton of claims down in here. So let's start pushing them and getting Moravia to be happy with us. Well, that was pretty easy. I'm going to piece these guys out, and I'm going to give all this land over here to Moravia, which will make Moravia nice and happy with me. And you know what? I'll pay off their debts too, because I'm a good guy. A nice little cheeky threaten to let them know that we will kill them if they don't give us that land. Easy peasy. Colonialism spawned up here, but it's going to be quite a while before we're able to get it. So I say we do some development here, and Stettin here seems like a decent enough province to dev it. Well, we're going to need some land up here, so we might as well attack these guys. They got some friends, but I think between us and our subjects, we should be fine. Mostly, I just want to take some provinces over here, occupy a fort, turtle up, and kill any of the men that they bring in. So let's go for this one here. Off to battle we go to crush some of these lads. And clearly, when you compare army quality, yeah, we win that one. If you take a look here, the Baltic region is all of this here. So all we need is to go up to this border. Obviously, we take war reps and whatever money they're willing to give, which is quite a pretty penny, and we will piece them out here. Now, I will make sure to give all these provinces over to my vassal in Livonia. We also need this island from these guys, and it doesn't look like they want to give it to us, so I guess I'm just going to have to declare war on them for that. No big deal. And as I said before, we're going to develop the crap out of this province here in hopes of eventually getting it up to a point where we can get colonialism. I'll use a little bit of my mill. It's fine. What that does is it spawns colonialism, which will spread pretty quickly. And once it gets to Berlin, which is our other major development province, we'll be able to embrace the institution pretty quickly. And since we need some provinces from these guys, we might as well attack them as well. Another day, another major battle in Reval. Let's head on in and, you know, beat the crap out of these pagans. Yeah, feels good, man. And tracing these borders right here, we will take these provinces. I will then, you guessed it, take all of their money. And just like that, we finish our mission to get a subjugation CB on Sweden. So here's the funny part though. I will probably use it, but I will actually probably annex them. That way I can release them as a subject. That way I don't have them hate me like these guys do. Clocking in at the Great 5 Great Power, about to overtake Andalusia for number 4. Feels good, man. Oh, funnily enough, it looks like Sweden would actually just accept vassalization, so let's go ahead and do that. And just like that, we vassalize these guys, which opens up the ability to click this button right here, since we now have 2 vassals. For some reason, marches don't count. But we can click this, which will give us some liberty desire, as well as open up 2 relationship slots. Very, very good stuff. I suppose it's not going to get much cheaper anytime soon, so let's go ahead and embrace this, which will allow us to take tech. That extra 20% trade efficiency will give us lots of money. Oh, yeah, that's the stuff. That is the stuff. Now, there's quite a bit more you can do with this mission tree. Obviously, as we have these guys as a subject, we could reconquer a ton of land for them, which would probably be the next move once this truce is up here in a few years. Aside from that, you can really just kind of keep pushing through this, pushing into the HRE. Dismantling would be a good shout. That would probably be the next major thing we would be looking to do. But we're really strong. We're in a really good position to do that. That would be this branch here. Then we have our economic/naval branch over here, and then our colonization branch if you are an absolute weirdo and you like to colonize in this patch. This version of Wendia is actually on the live version of Ante Bellum, so if this looks like fun and you want to play along, go ahead and check it out. It's going to be linked in the description below. On screen right now, YouTube is recommending a couple of videos to you that it thinks you will like, and I think you will like them as well. If you want to join my Discord, subreddit, or Twitter, you can check them out, linked in the description below. And for early access to each of these videos, you can support me for as little as $1 a month on Patreon. And until next time, guys, stay chill.